Okay, good morning everyone. This is our second lecture after first lecture about drama. We are going to study two plays. The first one is Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, and the second one is All My Sons by John Arthur Miller. After an introduction of drama, what is drama, and how to read a play, how to read analyses of the play. Today we are going to begin with the first play, Julius Caesar. I am Dr. Hussein, العسكري, your instructor in the coming days. So I'm going to start with Act 1, Scene 1. This scene actually is, and then we're going to discuss Scene 2. This scene is very important because we will witness a very important event. We have celebrations of the coming of Caesar after a battle with his enemy called Pompey. His enemy is Pompey, who fighting the Roman Empire after he was a senator himself. Now, what is the importance of that scene? We have difference in what? In the attitude. We have two judges, tribunes, judge means, who are from the upper class. The upper class of the Roman society. They were walking in the street and they witnessed the commoners. Do you know the meaning of the commoners? العامة, commoners, which we named according to the classification of the Roman society. Well, what name I gave yesterday? The plebeians. So the plebeians were wearing beautiful clothes and were following the streets of Rome. Why? The judges began to wonder, what's happening? Is it a feast day? Feast Eid, yani. Is it a feast day? What they are celebrating? And when they asked, okay, they discovered that the commoners, the mob, are celebrating the victory of Caesar over his enemy Pompey. They discovered that they are celebrating the victory of Caesar over their enemy Pompey. Now, we have two judges. They began to scold, يقرأ. Okay? They began to scold the cobbler, one of the commoners, okay, and they attempt to diminish يقلل من the significance of Caesar's victory over Pompey and the consequent triumph. They began to diminish the victory of Caesar. We have on one side some of the patricians are angry because they think that democracy is what? Threatened. مهددة. Is threatened by Caesar. Caesar, according to their thinking, Caesar will finish what? Democracy. By becoming a king. So they are angry. They think that the mob, the commoners, are the base, asas, upon which Caesar will build his empire and kingdom. So they are threatened. You know, the mob are not easily dealt with. The mob actually controlling everything, and they create chaos. So the two judges represent the upper class anger against Caesar. Now, we have an idea what's happening in Rome. The writer places this scene in the beginning of the play in order what? To show us what is the atmosphere where in Rome. He wants to emphasize the image of Rome, of Caesar in the minds of the commoners. واضح. Now, The hypocrisy, you know hypocrisy? What is hypocrisy? 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 Well, what is hypocrisy? Nifaq. Nifaq. The hypocrisy of the mob. You know nifaq? You mean you deal with double standards. The mob are shown to be ignorant group and hypocrites. Hypocritic. Hypocritic munafiqin. They supported Pompey, the enemy of Caesar before. They were celebrating Pompey. Now, what they are celebrating? Caesar. So they change their attitude or not? Easily or not? They change their attitude very easily. This gives us an idea of what is happening later. What will happen later? Caesar will be killed by the assassinates, the conspirators. And the conspirators will take the mob to their side. Then Mark Antony will deliver a speech and he will take the mob to his side. So they are easily moved or not? This is a very important point here. William Shakespeare wants to show us what kind of society, okay, what kind of society are there. So the mob are shown as hypocrites. Merolus, one of the judges, reminds the mob of the days when they used to gather to watch and cheer. يحيي. Cheer, يحيي. For Pompey's triumph, return from the battle. So they were cheering whom? Pompey. Now they are cheering Caesar, his enemy. What kind of society? What kind of class is that? Pay attention. I want you to pay attention. Now, the tribunes, the judges, go to remove any crowns, place it on the statues, تماثيل مصغرة لCaesar, of Caesar. So there were many statues. The mob began to put crowns over them. You know the crown is symbol of what? Symbol of authority. So the mob is giving Caesar full authority over Rome, which is very dangerous to the democratic life they were living, enjoying. Now, what is the importance? And we can make up from this scene. First, it's clear that the tribunes are fearing the growing loyalty to Caesar. You know loyalty? Wala. You know, it is very dangerous when a certain character is ruling over the mind of people. They will do anything in order to satisfy him. So, those two judges are angry and fearing the growing loyalty to Caesar, which appears to be growing with exceptional force. You know, exceptional. استثنائي. فائق للعادة. واضح؟ They are afraid that Caesar's power and influence are likewise strong. They are afraid that Caesar's power over their mind is very strong, and their loyalty to him is also strong. Do you have an idea of the atmosphere of what is happening in Rome? We have Caesar becoming more and more, powerful, which is a threat to what? A threat to democracy. Who is afraid? The patricians. Some of the patricians are afraid that Caesar will take over power and destroy everything. Now, this is scene 1, which is very important. These are important quotations, and I advise you to read our original text. Clear? But there are certain important quotations I want you to concentrate on. Now we move to scene 2. Scene 2 introduces all the major characters. Caesar, Brutus, Mark Antony, Cassius, etc. Calpurnia. تقريبا هاي مختصرة يعني. ديك أوسع الموجود. Yes. In scene 2 we have an event called the Feast of Lubrical Feast. To celebrate a god or a goddess. آلهة. They have many gods. So each god has a day to celebrate. They have a feast, Eid. All major characters appear in this scene. We have all the major characters appear on stage. Imagine that. Mark Antony now appears on stage, dressed to celebrate the feast day. Readies himself for a ceremonial run through the city. And we have an idea of what character is Mark Antony is. He's a young man, full of power. He has a strong body. Caesar is old, maybe in his 50s, 60s, 70s, I'm not sure. Maybe in 50s. Mark Antony is young, in his 20s. Okay, he represents youth, represents vigor. Vigor, you know vigor? حيوية, V-I-G-O-R, vigor. He represents vigor and vividness. And here he is running on that day. أحد تقاليد هذا اليوم أنه يسوي مسابقة ركض يعني. So Mark Antony is running. Caesar urges him to touch Calpurnia's, who is Caesar's wife, Calpurnia, as he runs. Since Roman superstitions, خرافة اعتقاد أو معتقد خرافي. Roman superstition holds that the touch of a ceremonial runner will cure barrenness. What do we got barrenness? عقم. So Calpurnia cannot conceive a baby. She cannot become pregnant. They have a ceremony. They have a superstition, superstitious belief that when a runner holds the stomach of a lady, she will get pregnant. They believe on that. Now, Antony agrees, declaring that whatever Caesar says is certain to become fact. Now, when Antony says everything Caesar says will become a law, we have an idea of loyalty. Do you remember loyalty I told you about? Loyalty, شو loyalty? Well, very good. Antony is totally loyal to whom? To Caesar. We'll discover that after the killing of Caesar. Antony is totally loyal to Caesar. Antony follows blindly Caesar. And after the killing of Caesar, he will become defender of the kingdom, the rule of one king, Caesar. Now, after that, we will have a new character called the soothsayer. Soothsayer is like عراف. عراف يقرأ المستقبل يقرأ الطالع. Okay, يعني every play has such character. عراف, قراء أطفال, سحارة, in order to make what? Suspense. أو مش suspense. إيش إثارة بالمسرحية. That soothsayer calls out from the crowd to Caesar, telling him to beware, be careful from what day? The Ides of March. Ides of March is the 15th day of March. The 15th day of March. Tell him, be careful from that day. Caesar is very arrogant. Caesar is very what? Very self-confident. His confidence in himself is very high or not? It's very high. So he tells, who is that? What is he saying? Mark Antony tells him he is a soothsayer. he tells you to be careful from the Ides of March. Ironically, that day will be the same day that Caesar will be assassinated. Well, how does he know? We don't know. But the writer places him in that scene in order to foreshadow, توقع, نتنبأ, the killing of Caesar. He tells him to be careful from the Ides of March. This is Caesar, who is not, and does not care. Why? He always says, I'm not afraid of death. I'm powerful. I'm strong. So I do not care what will happen to me. I'm a man, and man should not be afraid of death. واضح? Now, another thing. We have Caesar's refusal of the crown. On that day, some of the senators offered the crown for Caesar to become a king. But and that event happened off stage. What do you mean of off stage? يعني على المسرح لو خارج المسرح. خارج المسرح. الجمهور, the audience, does not see that. Only here reported. واحد يجي يقول كذا. نقول happened off stage. We have 3 times did Caesar decline the crown offered to him by whom? By the senators, in order to make him a king. So he refused to be a king. Now we will ask, is that an act of modesty, تواضع, or a political hypocrisy, أو نفاق شنو؟ سياسي. Why he refused the crown? Does he want to be a king? Does he not? What kind of character is Caesar? This is up to you. Do you remember yesterday you asked me for a model answer? جواب نموذجي. قلت لكم no, I cannot give you a model answer. I give you hints. You create answer. A good student always, especially in literature, creates the answer, not memorize it. Memorize enemy of literature. Do not memorize. Do not memorize by heart certain answer. Create the answer. Now you analyze it. Why Caesar refuses the crown 3 times? This is for you to answer. Now we have Cassius and another character, another very important character. I will give you time to discover the character of Brutus and Cassius. I will concentrate on the attitude of Cassius toward Caesar. Cassius is one of the senators, one of the patrician class. He wants to what? To make what? To lead what? A conspiracy. Mu'amara. In order to overthrow Caesar, to kill Caesar. He assumes, or he states that he is afraid on democracy because Caesar is a threat to what? To democracy. He begins to gather people one after one. شكله متآمر يبدأ واحد واحد يخليه قنعة. But the most important person is whom? Brutus. He thinks that he should bring Brutus to the conspiracy. I told you that Brutus is very important to the conspiracy for 2 reasons. First, he is loved, respected by the Roman people because he is wise, and people will be with the conspirators if Brutus is with the conspirators. Second, because Brutus is what? Caesar's loyal friend. Caesar's close friend. Conspiracy easier. Cassius works on that. Cassius wants what? To make a conspiracy to kill Caesar, to stop the growing popularity of Caesar. Now, Cassius is speaking to Brutus. He insinuates, he implies. Okay? يلمح إلى what? That Caesar is not a powerful person as they think. He's a weak man. He's an ordinary man. He gives two examples of his weakness or vulnerability. He says, Cassius says that one day when they were making a swimming competition, Caesar was almost drowned, and Cassius saved him. He began to call Cassius to save him. So is he an ordinary person or is he a Superman? Well, what do you think? Is Caesar a Superman or ordinary person? Another example. He said that one day he was very sick and with a high fever. Okay, when he was in Spain, and he began to, he has a seizure. Seizure, you know? نوبة سما شمرحنا مع الحمى. And he begins to cry like a girl. So, what kind of character is Caesar? Is he a Superman or ordinary man? He's an ordinary man, according to Cassius. So, how should an ordinary man become a king of our faith? Cassius is very angry. He wants that to stop. He does not want what? Caesar to control their fate. Clear? Now, you know, Brutus is very hesitant. He thinks that, okay, he's a friend of Caesar. Caesar is his loyal friend. He loves Caesar. But he always says, I love Rome more than Caesar. So he is hesitant. Bien? Nare. But in the end, eventually he will what? Join the conspirators for the love of Rome. Because Cassius is very smart and he is able to convince him to be with them in the conspiracy. So Cassius is actually a smart person. He moves in order to bring the death of Caesar. Now we have important points in the scene 2. The first one is Mark Antony's loyalty to Caesar. I'm speaking about scene 2. Caesar's self-confidence and arrogance. You know, arrogance. He is very self-confident. He has high esteem in himself. The third point is Caesar's strategies to bring Brutus to the conspiracy. No strategies. Cassius is following certain strategies. Sometimes by reminding, and these are very important. I will ask you to mention the strategies used by Cassius to bring Brutus with the conspirators. Or by making him afraid of Rome, by reminding him that Rome is in danger, democracy is in danger, by making Caesar very weak in his eyes, by making him hate. He follows many strategies. Please read them well and express about them. Last, Brutus' importance as a wise, respected to the whole plot. The plot هي conspiracy معناها مؤامرة أيضا المراد معناها plot. The plot of Cassius. واضح? He wants Brutus because he is very important. He is respected by people and he is loved by people. This is why if the conspiracy has Brutus with it, it will succeed or not? It will surely succeed. This is also important quote. Here we have Cassius speaking. I was born as free as Caesar. So were you. So were Brutus. He's speaking to Brutus. We both have fed as well. and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. We mean احنا رجال هو رجل. What is the difference? Why he becomes a king over us? This is very important for you. Okay, thank you. We have the end of this lecture today. Thank you for attending, and I hope to see you in the coming lectures.